Hi, thanks for visiting my site. I'm very excited to talk to you a little bit about stress today. I was very inspired to start reading about this when I got in my mid-30s, and then I realized that I reached the dream that I was chasing all my life. I had a great job, I have a family, I've got a home, I can buy all the things that I thought will make me happy. And I got to a point where I couldn't see that happiness. It didn't materialize for me. And one of the factors, among other things, other steps that I did to improve my life and my well-being and my patients' well-being is by learning a little bit about stress and how to manage it and what it does to our body. I was so inspired by a book of Professor Sapolsky from Stanford University, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And he's got some very simple concept how to deal with it, and some very, very fundamentals, what it does, the stress to our body. So to have a great quality of life is in another level, and to know how to manage stress is in another level. So it's very good to have steps that we can build in our fundamentals of our well-being, our quality of life. So then we can manage stress, and then after that we have steps how to have a good quality of life. So what the professor said, what stress does for you. First of all, what is very important is that according to, from the evolutionary speaking, stress has developed for us to teach us how to deal with short-term physical stress. If you imagine Lucy, the first looking like human that was discovered and lived 3.2 million years ago, she was very small, she lived in the savannah, and if the lion is there, she had to fight or flight response, that is from the limbic system. And there's a small gland in the brain called the amygdala, which kind of is situated in the limbic system. It's almond shaped, and it tells the brain that there's danger, we have to go. And what the brain does, brain releases some other product which are called hormones, and put the gas pedal to the body to tell them through the sympathetic system. And all the organs get alerted that there is a stress and they have to react. So the heart starts pumping strongly, and the blood vessels get bigger and pump the blood through. And then there is some other hormones that goes up from the small glands on top of our kidney, from adrenal gland, and is cortisol, adrenaline, and some of them, like noradrenaline, is transmitted as well from a nerve to the other nerve as well, and it tells the body we have to run. And what happens? The heart pumps even more blood and more faster, and it goes to the thighs so you can run, and the vision gets more acute and more focused, so you can just go and find a hiding place. The other things that get mobilized is just blood sugar in blood, which goes up to feed all the like muscles that you have to run. And then there are because all this commotion that's going on, there are a couple of systems that are not that important on this acute phase of stress escape. And these systems are the reproductive system, which is no point being ready for you to have like a ovulation or ejaculation, because you need to escape from this stress. So that's why many people that are under stress, they experience infertility problems. And then the other system that gets into sleep is the gastrointestinal system. There's no point you trying to digest your food, because you might be eaten after 2 minutes by the lion. And then the other system, which is very important, very crucial in stress response, is the immune system. So the immune system is responsible to fight the infection, the bacteria, and is responsible to fight the small cancer cells that our body produce regularly, and they fight them. But on this, if the body is on this stress response, you will understand the energy is needed to run, and the body runs. Lucy would run. She was safe. Because she was safe, she left children, and she had descendants, and we are results of her descendant. We come from people they were afraid, or they knew how to react quickly in face of a lion, of a predator. All the tribes that lived, and they ignored this. They ignored the predator. They'll be like, oh, it looks like a lion, but it might be like a rock, so I'm just gonna check it out first. They didn't survive. But we are descendants from tribes and from people that thought, maybe it's a rock, maybe it's a lion, but I can't run the chance. I'm going to think it's a lion, so I'm just going to run. So that there we come. There's another concept called the negative bias, so where something bad really sticks. But that is for another discussion. So when it comes to stress, so you've got all these hormones, adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, they're making all the body like in alert state, and you survive. The other thing that is get really affected is the brain itself. If the stress carries on for longer or more repeated episode, there are areas in the brain that change, and one of them from all research that's been done is the hippocampus, which is an area that is responsible for memory. The other things that I want to point out when the stress happens is that it's all a reaction from the limbic system. So there is another part of the brain that get not that activated when this happens, and that is the brain that's in the front of our head is called prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logical thinking, strategic thinking, and you can understand, because there's no need to have any strategic thinking. You have to run and escape. There's no time for you to think and make a diary and make a map. Where shall I go, this way or that way? You just have to react quickly. So thank God that we have this response, because we are alive because of that response. The problem lies only because we activate the same response from psychological stress. We activate the same response from anticipatory stress, which is something that you think that might happen, and it doesn't even happen. I love a quote by Mark Twain. He says, "I'm an old man and I had many problems in life. Most of them never happen." And unfortunately, this is what it is. This is because of our evolution, and many things we think they're going to happen and nothing happens, but we suffer the consequences, and our body gets into a alert state when we don't know how to deal with these responses. So all this that I talked about now is like 7 minutes. The body does it in seconds. This is how quick is the response. So even on the times when you are not conscious of that, like you see the children's room is all in a mess, in a bundle, and you start raising your voice, and you start getting sweaty and a bit annoyed, this is what you're doing to your body. The body thinks that you are being chased by the lion, and the whole response goes in the body for something like that. You can think, it doesn't really matter, but this is more to understand what really happens. And if this stress response is for longer time and more repeatedly, then you have, as I said, from the sexual dysfunction that is all the digestion. So you have ulcers in the stomach or in the other part of the gut, indigestion problem, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, all the benefit. And then people develop some allergy because the immune system is down. You get more prone to infection. The blood pressure goes up, the heart gets damaged if it carries on beating fast and for no apparent reason. So this is very important. Now, what do we do about it? Because some people know it, some people didn't know. I didn't know all this in details, and the professor in his book explained them so beautifully. But what I wanted to talk about is what we do about it. So there are a couple of things that he suggests that we should do and implement in our life. There's no point you knowing about things. There are many things that we know and we don't do anything. So if you are not ready to do anything, then you might as well just stop the video and go. But if you want to do something about it, then carry on listening or buy his book and see what you make up for your own self. So the first thing, it says, try to create some sense of control on the things that you can do. So if you see the child room that is messy, try to take some deep breaths and then not make any impact when you are on this alert state, and try to move yourself and have a think of how you can approach this conversation when you are not taken on by all your hormones and all the stress that's happening in your body. The other thing is to have some predictability, and sometimes you can't have predictability. You get fired from your job, or something happens with a family member and you can't do anything. But that is where our brain can help us. Our prefrontal cortex, the part that does the logical, strategic thinking, it can help us to decide and to do some planning in advance what we can do to predict some of the things that we can, to be vigilant so things don't take us off guard. The other thing that he suggests to do is like to have some outlet of your frustration, and this is amazing thing. These are all things that you can do on a daily basis. So what he suggests is you either carry on a hobby that you always love to do, and start with something small. You can start 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something that you always wanted to do, that you can start without having too much inconvenience in your life. But after you see the effect of it, you will sure make it more. But the minimal things that you can stick to it to make a habit creates 21 days. And for some people, they need even 61 days to create all the loop that are necessary to make to make a habit stick. Or if there's no hobby, something that you like relaxing, he says it's good to start exercise or do something that involves movement, but it's not exercise per se. So some kind of dance, they can involve exercise as well. Or people play games, and that is like a kind of exercise. But like schedule it regularly. Nothing happens if you do one thing in the blue moon. Nothing happens. Unfortunately, it is the way it is. You have to make it in your habit, then becomes part of your life, and it's easy to stick to it. And then you don't need to rely on willpower. You can just rely on you doing what you want to do. The other thing that he suggests is have social support. Create 2 or 3 friends, or even one is better than having 5,000 friends on Facebook that are never there when you need them. So I'm very excited about this. There are plenty of other books that talk about stress, but I found this book very nice in terms of understanding. And I think understanding what it does to your body and to your brain, it gives you more strength to find your way as how to deal with your stress. Thank you for watching. Thanks. Bye.